Welcome to week 7 of the Cold War. This week we are going to be moving on to the second Berlin Crisis. Before I speak a little bit more about the Berlin Crisis and about the tasks that you're going to be doing this week, I just wanted to say on behalf of the whole history team at Deptford Green, keep it up. We've been getting loads of really good submissions and the quality of the work has been really high. So I just wanted to say, that is appreciated, and all of these efforts that we're putting in now, it is going to pay off in the end. So please continue with all that great effort, and we're doing really well. The root of the second Berlin Crisis lay in the division of Germany and in the differences ultimately between communism and capitalism. As you learned a few weeks ago, Germany was permanently divided after Stalin's failed Berlin blockade. East Germany was communist, West Germany was capitalist. Berlin too was split between the two different Germanys, half under the control of the West, half under the control of the East. Because of the city's location, capitalist West Berlin was almost like an island surrounded by communist Germany. For many East Germans, life under communist rule was not happy. Although there were some benefits, there was a lack of freedom and a lack of democracy. East Germans were ruled by a strict dictatorship and watched over by the secret police. There's also a lack of consumer and luxury goods. Meanwhile, in West Germany, the country's economy was booming. West Germans were quickly becoming very wealthy, and citizens could enjoy the rewards of their hard work. They enjoyed the freedoms and democracy that those in the East lacked. The differences between the two countries created a problem because for many East Germans, life in the West looked much more attractive, and as a result, millions of East Germans fled to live in the West. For Khrushchev and the East German government, the refugee crisis was a major concern. How could the country run if so many of their brightest and best trained citizens continued to leave? How did it make communism as a whole look if the people of Germany chose to leave and live in the capitalist West instead? What was to stop even more East German people doing the same? Khrushchev needed a solution, and he needed it quickly. As a result, he issued the Berlin Ultimatum, giving the Allies 6 months to leave West Berlin and allow it to become communist, or face war with the Soviet Union. Clearly, the USA did not want to fight the USSR over the issue of Berlin. However, they didn't want to back down and allow Berlin to become communist either. Khrushchev held 4 summits to discuss the issue, first with President Eisenhower and then President Kennedy. But a solution was no nearer. War between the two superpowers now seemed a real possibility. Ultimately, however, Khrushchev too did not really intend to go to war over Berlin. However, he did not want to back down or face the humiliation of any more unproductive talks with the USA. As a result, he ordered the construction of the Berlin Wall. This was to be a huge physical divide between East and West Berlin, but also along the entire border of East and West Germany. The structure was reinforced, it had barbed wire, and was guarded over by soldiers and attack dogs, making it nigh on impossible for East German refugees to leave. By resolving this refugee problem, war between the two superpowers was avoided. But it came at a huge cost for Khrushchev. The construction of the Berlin Wall was a propaganda victory for the USA. The Berlin Wall perfectly symbolized the lack of freedom and the severe restrictions of communist rule, a fact that Kennedy was quick to point out when making a speech in Berlin, expressing his solidarity with both the people of East and West, declaring, "Ich bin ein Berliner," I am a Berliner. Now, I'm sure you've enjoyed my account of the Berlin blockade, but a quick reminder that the GCSE Pod website is also a really good resource if you want to listen to a little bit more about the Berlin blockade. You can create an account if you don't already have one with your school login address. If you go to the Berlin Crisis 1961, there's lots more useful information there. I've also uploaded to Show My Homework a downloadable version of the podcast if you don't feel like or can't sign up right now. Okay, in this next section, I'm just going to quickly talk you through the tasks for this week. For part A, it's quite straightforward really. What I'd like you to do first is to download part A Info Berlin, and it's going to tell you about the causes and the events of the Berlin Crisis, or the second Berlin Crisis. We're then going to download the 7A task sheet, which is in 2 pages. The first page, very simple, some short answer questions on the Berlin Crisis, which we're going to answer in full sentences. And the second part of your 7A task is to then create a really quick overview of the 4 meetings or summits that took place between Khrushchev and the leaders of the USA. This, though, can be completed with just bullet point notes. Once you've completed that, you're then going to move on to part B. For this part, we're going to read a little bit more info. So you're going to download the 7B info consequences. And this time, rather than present your information using Microsoft Word, we're going to be creating a small PowerPoint on the Berlin Wall. When you download the PowerPoint, there are some sentence starters and some questions that you should finish and answer. And also it invites you to do a little bit more research yourself. So, for example, you're going to find some pictures to present and make it look good. You're going to be maybe finding some extra information of your own. And of course, there's a lot of room here for you to go away and make it look nice with lots of different animations and things like that. Finally, once you've completed your PowerPoint, which is part B, I would like you to submit your work for part A and B. Then you're going to quiz yourself on this week's knowledge on the second Berlin Crisis. As always, that's available on Show My Homework, and the higher percentage you get, the more laureate points we're going to be rewarding. Now, it's worth noting at that point that the heads of year this week have been giving out lots of prizes for those who've been getting raffle tickets. There are £10 vouchers available, so it is worth making sure you're getting the best results, not only for yourself, but also to earn those better rewards.